there's a couple like teams like the Bengals that are like lurking on the outside. I'm not just talking about the AFC picture. Over in the NFC, the Cowboys are just ripping it up. And
Yep.
they had a huge win on Thanksgiving, beating the Kansas City Chiefs 31-28 effectively. I mean, not knocking the Chiefs out of the playoffs, but man, is it going to be hard for them to climb back in now. They have to be nothing short of perfect through the remainder of this. That's a team that now that the defense is settled, now that they're kind of playing a little bit better against the run, this offense is just, I mean, Clayton Adams might get a head coaching job. He's just been unreal as their offensive coordinator. This is a team where I'm like, oh God, what if they get into the playoffs? I think they're going to cause some problems for people.
Right. And they're like, because they're explosive. They've got a veteran quarterback who knows what he's doing. I mean, like the two guys they have on the outside, Lamb and Pickens, like perfectly complement each other. And they've been able to keep that thing on the tracks, which Pittsburgh wasn't able to do with Pickens. And I've said it a million times, like I would not take someone that like fell out of favor with Mike Tomlin. Like I think that's usually a red flag, but it's really worked out for them. And I think you look at like what they've done defensively and how like they've gone about replacing Micah Parsons, and I think they understood they didn't need to do it with a great edge rusher, right? And so now they've gone from like defensive tackle being Osi Odigizua and who knows what else to Odigizua, Kenny Clark, and Quinnen Williams. And now that's a legitimate strength, like maybe the best position group on the team outside of receiver. And I will say, I don't think we give Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and Will McClay quite enough credit for how that roster's always been in such good shape. Talent's never an issue there, you know? And you can say they take wild swings sometimes, and that's true. Like I was on that beat when they took a wild swing at Pac-Man Jones. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, and Tank Johnson and all those other guys. So they do take wild swings sometimes, and you could put Pickens in that category. But I think back to August and all and I was part of it, like ripping of the Jones family and everything else there. And like no one had any trust that they were going to get the roster right after trading Micah Parsons and winding up with those picks. But really, when has the roster ever been a problem there? I mean, it's been over 20 years.
Well, so this is interesting, right? Jerry Jones said that he had offered the Jets Micah Parsons for Quinnen Williams and a pick before the season started.
Right.
And they said no. Do you think that that's true? Do you think that is
my understanding of that was that never even got to the general manager's desk and was just talk between the owners. Now, I think what it does tell you, I think here's the reality of it. Okay. I don't think that was very serious talk at all in the summer, but I think what it does inform you on is it does inform you on what they were trying to do at the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, which was, and what they were thinking at the time, that they really liked Quinnen Williams. And I think you have to look back at Matt Eberflus's past and what was the strength of the Indianapolis defenses that played at a level that helped him get the job in Chicago in the first place. They were really strong at D tackle, right? Like they traded for DeVorest Buckner and they had Grover Stewart there. And like that was a team that was able to win, that was able to win up front because they had such overwhelming strength in the middle of the line. And now he has that again. So like, I think the one thing that it can inform you on, because I don't think it was ever close, you know, none of that. Like, and I think Jerry said it to Gary Myers too, a couple months ago on the radio or whatever in New York. To me, like what it can tell you is like, there actually was a coherent plan here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't just like, this isn't all just scattershot BS. Like they had a plan for how they wanted to reimagine their defense under Matt Eberflus. Like when they were discussing what happens if we do have to trade Micah Parsons, and now they've been able to execute that plan and the defense doesn't look like a weakness anymore. You know, it's, again, like to be able to beat the two Super Bowl teams, and I know neither of them are in the best shape right now, but to be able to win those two games and win them in the fashion they did, where it was like in both cases, like in the Eagles game, it was a huge deficit at the beginning. They were down 21-0. And then in the Chiefs game, it was like they were able to kind of hold off like a furious Mahomes comeback.
Yeah.
I think it says something about where they're at. And I think Shoddy deserves a lot of credit too. No one wants to give it to him, but
no, I do. I mean, I think he's the one that I would give the most credit to. I mean, he's the one that put together that staff. I think Adams was a home run hire. I think sticking with Eberflus and knowing that you were going to get some help on the defensive line, or believing that you were going to get some help on the defensive line, all of that is, and you have to manage all of that in the locker room. And I think that the lineage comes out when you know what hits the fan. I mean, he's seen a lot of stuff, and I think that nothing is too big for him. I knew that this was going to happen the minute that I started ripping the bejesus out of Dallas for the Micah Parsons trade. And here's the thing. There's been a couple
times, reverse jinx or whatever.
No, it is. It's just me though. And there's been a couple times now where I've had to wear the big horse's ass thing. And I tweeted this yesterday. So, and I want to make it clear on all mediums that I'm a dipshit. Okay. So, we do the magazine predictions. And this year it was me, it was Gil, and it was Matt. And we had to put our heads together and we had to come up with the season records for every team that are going to get printed in the football preview issue. Right. So Gil does one division, Matt does the other division, and then I come in at the end and I kind of just ombudsman the thing, and I make sure all the numbers line up and I make sure it makes sense.
So like the overall like winning percentage of the league isn't like 650 or whatever.
Right. You make sure the records add up and you make sure there's nothing crazy out there. Yeah. Okay. So Gil has the NFC and he has the Vikings winning 5 games and finishing in like last place. And he has the Carolina Panthers winning the division with 9 wins. And I'm like, guys, we can't do this. We got to stop this. And so I go in there and I bust the whole thing up like an asshole and change it. Lo and behold, the Vikings are going to finish with like 6 wins and the Panthers are going to win the goddamn division with 9 games. Like, I'm never going to like anytime I put my foot down on something, it ends up not in my mouth, but straight somewhere else. And I think that I'll save you the gross visual, but you know what I'm talking about.
You're talking about the guy who has been like entrenched in Camp Mahomes and Camp Kansas City and Camp Andy Reid, and like has been calling everyone a moron who thinks they're going to miss the playoffs. And here I am, and they're 6-6, and I still think like there's a good chance they get in, and if they get in, like is anybody really going to want to play them? But I mean, right now, like they get in, those games aren't going to be played at Arrowhead. You know what I mean? Like I don't, because the reality is this is the idea of playing home playoff games is a lot simpler than people make it out to be. You win your division, you get home playoff games. You don't, it's really hard to get any. You know, like you need things to happen to get any, because the highest you can be seeded is 5. So after the reseeding, like you would need to play a home playoff game as a wild card. You would have to have the 6 and 7, and I knew I was going to do that before it came out of my mouth, so don't call me on it. The 6 and 7 teams would need to advance. So all 3 wild cards would need to advance for 1 wild card to get a home playoff game. Bottom line, the Chiefs ain't winning that division. You know what I mean? Like I think we can say that safely now. They're 4 games back with 6 games to go, which means the Chiefs are going to have to travel a different road to get to the Super Bowl this year.